Hello, Aquarius. This is your forecast for October 2021, and this goes for all of you Aquarian sun signs as well as moon and rising signs. For all three groups, this information is valid. This is why you always want to listen to your rising signs and moon signs, because it just gives you that much more information when you're listening to your monthlies, okay? So listen, we have a wonderful month coming upon us, and that has to do with these planets now awakening from their deep sleep. We've had retrogrades all through summer, slowing us down. But hey, now the wave is rising. So it's all about catching that wave, cruising it, trusting it, knowing where that wave is going. It knows it all on its own. But there's going to be more energy that you now can bring to the table. I can see, let's start talking about these planets that are awakening first. We have Pluto. First and foremost for you, and it is in your 12th house. That is what has been dynamically working in the back of your life. Okay, it's in the subconsciousness. It's in your spirituality. It's the house of Pisces. So yes, I feel that has been very transformative. You will understand now when the planets now pick up speed and move forward, why the intention from the universe was to slow you down, to slow all of us down. So you would have time to listen within, to be guided, directed into ways that were super important for the, when I say subconsciousness, it's also your higher consciousness. It's what you're downloading of information from above. And Pluto is so transformative, right? So then we have Saturn and we got Jupiter, both of them running in your sign. So yes, huge changes for a lot of you Aquarians because it's in your first house. And the first house is all about you. It's your personality. It's who you are on the inside and what you're bringing to the table now in this new cycle. And if I'm talking a cycle, well, I'm talking about a 12-year cycle with Jupiter that has been opening up, meaning you've just shut down here last year on your last 12 years. Just there around end of the year of 2020, that's it. Jupiter said enough of that, moved into your first house. Saturn too. Saturn has a longer cycle. It's 29 and a half years, so say 30 years, right? So you also shut down on a 30-year cycle. So this year, 2021, has all been about, okay, if I'm not who I used to be, in those cycles, who am I now? So this year of 2021, you've kind of like really been delving into the I am. Who am I? And what do I want from these next two cycles, the 12 and the 29-year cycle? Jupiter is full of knowledge. It's full of expansion. I think about the body signs of Jupiter, right? And there's joy. There's always joy with Jupiter because it's so abundance, right? So when abundance comes to you, and we're not talking just necessarily abundance in material ways, right? It rules the ninth house, which is all about higher consciousness. So I feel a lot of that higher consciousness has come into this first house, you, to expand your mind. Saturn, to kind of look at what do I really want, for one. Secondly, and more importantly, I feel, is what do I no longer want? Saturn can come with shackles, right? And it holds us down. And so the last 29 years, what has been holding you back? What's been holding you down? What has shackled you? It has to do with the grounding of old structures and so forth. So now coming into your first house, you're like, no, don't want those shackles. I'm freeing myself. And that's what retrograde has been really good for when it comes to this placement for you, is owning now your choices. Not that we're just here on this wheel of life and spinning it, you know, and we're running, not having time to really think who we are and where am I heading. You've had this, Aquarius, now for this whole year, and you will see the importance of why it slowed you down enough throughout, say late spring, but through summer, why it slowed you down so you could connect with these emotions, with these feelings, with the mindset, the expansion, finding your new place in your universe. I would say in the universe, but it's all about your universe. Where do you belong now, Aquarius? So Jupiter will show you. Now as it's moving forward, it's picking up. Like I said, there's a new wave coming in. Just trust the wave, even if you can't see it quite yet. Trust the wave, because the wave knows where it's heading. It's taking you in a certain direction and knows where it's going to land. Then we have Mercury is retrograde and will be to October 19th, Aquarius, and that is showing up for you in your 9th house. And actually, you have quite a bit going on in this area for October. The 9th house, again, has to do with higher thinking. It's all about spirituality, metaphysics, religion, philosophy, right? And already in September, you were putting a lot of energy in there with Mars in this area. Now the sun is there too. We'll have the new moon there, and we also have Mercury there. So yes, and say mid-September onwards, a lot of this has now really been tuning in, and you have it for October. The only thing we need to be a little wary of is that Mercury is retrograde, and when that happens, see, Mercury is communication, and when it's retrograde, we might speak a little too quickly, right? And then we're going to have to readjust it, or we're not really listening, taking in what somebody's saying, and then that has to be dealt with and rebalanced, right? So I'm thinking if there's anything that triggers that might give you that little sense, that little feeling of, oh my God, what was that all about? Then ask. Don't be afraid to ask. This is what we all need to do, because when something isn't really sitting right, well, instead of allowing that to fester and create a situation, we address it. That is what that is all good about. And it's giving you a little bit more extended time. And I think just because most of you here have been researching your 9th house so lit like a Christmas tree, you've been down those rabbit holes, that slowdown of Mercury is allowing you 3 more weeks to do that research. And, I would say embrace that. Why? Because all your planets are going to be moving later now into your 10th house, which has to do with goals, ambitions, career, all that focus that you now have had in the research area, you're going to be putting into action in your career, expanding it. You already have a feel of what it is you're wanting to do, Aquarius. And why is that? We got Venus in your 10th house here in October, and you've been having that on the September side as well. So, Venus in Scorpio is very intense. It's also very passionate. And so I could see a lot of this passion deepening. And the 10th house isn't just career, it's our goals. So ask yourself, what is Venus wanting as a goal in your life? What is it you're aiming for? And being open and genuine with it is so empowering. It will take you deeply into your core, and it's setting the path up for when the sun and Mars and Mercury all gets in there, and we'll be taking it to the next level. That's when you're going to be growing and expanding this. But right now, it's all about seeking. You've been seeking, and I feel that you have been finding, and it's an exciting journey for you Aquarians, and especially those of you who are very open-minded might have found a lot of nuggets, I feel, because you're always very futuristically oriented as a Gemini. You are already very Uranian, very different, right? So right now, what's coming in, I feel it's more like bringing it together. Exciting. So that new moon is when we place our intentions, and for you, Aquarius, that should be October 6th. What should that intention be? We always place intentions on a new moon. Leave a comment down below what you think it means to have your new moon in the 9th house. And I will tell you right here that has to do with, yes, your spirituality, right? Growing that sense of consciousness, higher consciousness. You might want to ask for the intention to bring in more fully downloads. But 9th house is also travel, international travel, and so forth, wanting to visit. But there's so many ways that we can visit. foreign shores, people, cultures, and so forth. The ninth house rules all of that. So I can see how this is going to be of an interest. That should be